As we all know in life, in the end, you don't always win every battle, but you never regret taking on the powerful and bringing in the light.
A few months ago, they said they didn't know who I was. Well, if you didn't know, now you know.
This city has never really been the city that works for everyone, but it will be when I am mayor.
And with that, Lori Lightfoot will no longer serve as Chicago's mayor. She's now the first Chicago mayor in 40 years to lose re-election. Brandon Johnson, who's a Cook County commissioner backed by progressives and the teachers union, will go head-to-head with Paul Vallis, who's been supported by the police union. Their runoff election is set for April 4th. None of the 9 candidates were able to secure more than 50% of the vote to win outright. And of course, crime, public safety were key issues throughout the race. We're going to welcome in our guests to discuss the impact of these election results. John Garrido is a Chicago Police Lieutenant. DaQuawn Bruce is the Executive Director of Concerned Communities for America. Gentlemen, we are taking a live look at sunny Chicago. Change is on the way. John, Let me start with you. Just your reaction to the results.
I can't stop smiling. We are so excited here in Chicago. The voters have spoken, and they've spoken loud and clear. Finally, this regime is going to be sent packing, and she's going to take her superintendent from Texas with her, and we can start to get back on track here.
As we look at the numbers, the breakdown really, DaQuawn, I mean, it wasn't even that close of a race. You've got Paul Vallis and Brandon Johnson, both at the top here. They're going to face off. April 4th, we'll have the winner. But what do you think this says about what Chicagoans are looking for?
Absolutely. It was a great feeling going to bed last night, knowing that Lightfoot was out the door. But more than anything, this election was a referendum on crime and a scathing indictment on Lightfoot's leadership. You know, in just the 4 years that she took office, you had crime hit historic highs with things like carjackings and homicides doubling year after year from the time she took office. And Chicagoans aren't, naive. They understand that there was a lack of leadership, that this was a mayor who wanted to make national headlines and position herself to be a national player instead of looking out for the needs and the concerns of the actual community. And so, unfortunately, Chicagoans don't have much of a new choice here, but it is a good step into the right direction as far as getting new leadership in the door and holding those new leaders accountable.
You know, John, when it comes to addressing the issue of crime and correcting it, what do you think the next mayor will need to do to get crime under control?
Well, the first thing we're going to do is have to change the morale on the Chicago Police Department, because that's going to go a long way towards officer retention. We lost over 376 officers last year to resignations, and they were just leaving Chicago policing and they were going to other law enforcement agencies. And the scary thing about this coming election here is Brandon Johnson is an anti-police defunding police candidate, and that is not going to help. And we are losing officers because we're not keeping up with attrition. And if we don't get back on track, and that's the first step. Obviously, there's a lot of other things that we're going to need to do, but we need to keep the officers that are here, and electing Brandon Johnson is just not going to make that happen.
All right, and it was Paul Vallis who had that endorsement from police officers in the city. Short on time, we had to listen into that hearing. Thank you both for coming on, John Garrido and DaQuawn Bruce. Appreciate it.